Hey, this is Sasha. Thanks for joining me in today's video. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at ChatGPT. It's the open AI system that can generate responses for you and do the work for you, give you a back massage and everything else. Not really, but we're going to take a look at how I've been using it a little bit for some stock trading and just some things I'm working on for you guys as well, and how you could possibly use it to enhance some of the things you're doing in investing or trading. So let's take a look at some of these things. We're going to hop on over to the screen. So before we continue, just remember you can check out our Traders Fly website where I deal with people and work with people on a longer term basis for coaching, mentoring, one-on-ones, and there's a ton of other great courses and materials here that you can definitely check out. Okay, so getting started with this ChatGPT system, I will say it is a little buggy, but first off, you need to register, get things set up, and much more, and go to the URLs. But the URL right now is chat.openai.com/chat. And there's many videos out there to getting set up. Just look for OpenAI or ChatGPT, and I'm sure you can find a way to register. Now, for our scope, we're going to focus more on the trading and investing side of it and how you might use it. At a basic level, you might go ahead and ask it questions. So it gives you some examples here. I use actually another software program oftentimes to type. This is how I also do my books. This is called Lily Speech. And I'm going to go ahead and push that. And what we're going to do is go ahead and activate it. And as I speak, it will ask a question. So what I can do is hit Control D and then ask a question. How can I use ChatGPT to do more stock investing or research or better my trading? All right, so you can see I just spoke that, wrote it in. That way I don't have to type and use my fingers, and you can hear the clunks. And what it'll do is it'll give you a response. So it'll give you some things here at a general level. But remember, this is an AI system, so it's not going to give you all the insights of, hey, which stock to pick. But if you understand how the tool works, just like a hammer, you could use it to pull nails, or you could use it to hammer in nails. So in this case, it's a similar concept where if you understand how the tool works, you can use it to kind of go ahead and give you some insight. So for example, let's go ahead and ask another question. And this is how I might use it personally. What are some stocks related to Walmart? Can you give me a list of ticker symbols separated by commas? So there we go. I went ahead and asked some stocks related to Walmart. We're going to take a look at what we've got going on. And you can see it gives a pretty nice response here. Dollar Tree, Walgreens, CVS, Kroger, Amazon. Again, they're going to give you not recommended to buy or sell. And then we might ask another one. What are the most popular retail stocks? Can you please give me the ticker symbols for those? Voila. So now we're going and starting to get a little bit more technical. And you can say, get more and more specific. Again, these are still simple questions, but we're going to get even more in depth here, and I'll show you how I might process it. You can see sometimes it will have some lag. The system is still fairly new, and it's got some, some quirks behind it. But in either case, we've got a few things here that it's doing and generating, and sometimes they're a little bit slower to generate the responses. But in either case, it's doing okay. Now, once you see the possibilities here, you can also get these things to organize them alphabetically. You can have it generate things for you in terms of also scripting and research. And this is what I'm going to show you here. So if you're not a fan of writing, let's say search scripts, like let's say we're doing a scan. So this is TC2000. And what we can do is a scan. And with a scan, we can also write in formulas. So for example, if I go here, write a formula, what I can do is now write a formula. And here's one way to go ahead and do this. So let's go ahead and, can you write me a PCF formula for TC2000 where a stock is moving above the 21-day moving average? There we go. So now we've gone and written another little piece. Sure, here's a PCF formula. And this formula, C represents the closing price, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a nice simple formula. And if you go ahead and type of moving average, we've got simple moving average, so that's fine. Okay, let's take a look. You can see, voila. We're going to put it in here. I'm going to go ahead, formula error. Ooh, now what do you do in this case? So what you can say is, the formula appears to have an error. Can you please double check and correct it? So as we play with this, you can see it's not perfect. Here's the corrected PCF formula. Okay, let's take a look. Now we can take this formula. Let's see. We still got a error. Okay, so I don't know if it's a formula error here, but actually I know the formula. It's X average. It might be that in some cases, the system, you can see, has its quirks. So for me, as you can see, I just tweaked the formula to write it. But sometimes what you need to do is start a new chat and say, help me with writing PCF formulas for TC2000. And then what we can do is, can you write a formula to see when a stock passes the 21 moving average and is above that 21 moving average? The moving average that we'll be using is the exponential moving average and not the simple moving average. Okay, so now what we've got is, it's writing a whole bunch of stuff here. What we're going to do is stop generating that. Let's go ahead and see what it can do. And then we'll take a look, see if it's got the capabilities. But I will say I've been using it to kind of simplify some of this writing. It's not perfect, but in some cases it will help you write some simple things. So here's the EMA 21 average is the X. Yeah, so there is the X average, which is what I've used. So the formula calculates the, yeah, exactly. So this is what we were using earlier for this moving average, where the closing is greater than the X average. So in some cases, you do need to understand what's going on, but it'll give you some general guidelines on the X average and so on, if the current price is greater than EMA. So this is one way of using it. I've used it in other cases where it also generates things for, let's say, ThinkScript. So if you're using right here, not TC2000, Thinkorswim, and you can go ahead to edit studies and create your own studies. So here is a ThinkScript. So if you're not a fan of ThinkScript, or you haven't used it before, or you're trying to create your own formulas, this system can help you. So can you create a ThinkScript that checks for the top 10 gainers of stocks for today? Let's see if we can do something like this, because this seems to be like talking a lot about this. Sometimes you have to weave yourself into the question and get it to like work the system a little bit and massage it into there. And then it will go ahead and do a little bit better with the scripting. Since I just kind of hopped right into it pretty quick, it might not be doing such a great job with it. But I do find it does okay and not bad. And then you can kind of work your way through the mud to tweak it and correct it. So here's the ThinkScript possibility. And you can see you can ask for ThinkScript. Here's a ThinkScript code that identifies the top 10 gainers in the current trading session based on the percent change in the price. So again, now it'll give you a little bit more of a code. And when we look at the code here on ThinkScript, you can see ThinkScript's a little more complicated. It's one of the reasons I don't use it as much, but I also like the TC2000. It's a little more faster in some cases. But it'll give you a lot more possibilities with ThinkScript, I think, than the TC2000. But it's got the code there that you can write it in. So in either case, there's a lot of things you can do with this when it comes to trading and investing. As for helping you write the codes, helping you organize data, and giving you, some cases where the stocks are, say, this old system that we can't get back to right this second. stocks that are related, stocks in the energy sector. It can give you a lot of different results. Can you give me a list of most popular stocks in the oil and gas industry? So let's see if it'll handle this right now. So we've got the think script over here. It had an error. Sometimes what I notice is that if you go beyond a certain number of lines or you hop around too much, it does create errors and problems. You can't use it like at the same time, or it's limit one result at one point. So you can see there are some glitches behind it. Let's go ahead and refresh. And then there we go. High demand, please hang out. But here are these symbols, most popular stocks. And it gives you a list of ticker symbols. Again, not a recommendation to buy or sell, but you get an idea here. And it gives you some context to the system. So anyway, that's what I want to share with you with the system. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities to it and what you can do with it, from writing think scripts or allowing you to help you write some think scripts or PCF formulas for TC2000 or many other things. If you're hopping around and doing this across different trading things, it can definitely help you out with that. Can you give me an idea of what you might put into a trading journal? So even for things like this, as simple as that, you can use it to give you a little bit of a leg into this concept if you're trying to brainstorm some ideas. But ultimately, it's just, again, an AI system, and it'll give you kind of some flat answers, but it's you still have to do the thinking beyond it. How do you use this data for your benefit? So although the system's great and fantastic, and it could save you some time, or places where you're struggling but you want an immediate response, this is great. It will have its quirks. It's still fairly new, but it can give you a little bit of assistance, especially in problem areas where maybe you're not as comfortable, maybe things you don't understand, or maybe things you're just trying to learn. Even as simple things as maybe you're trying to learn something about house repair, it can help you out and give you some guidelines into that, where you can go back and forth a few times. So anyways, that's basically a bigger overview of how I use the system. There is one other thing that I want to share with you that I've used it for also generating some new things. So here's kind of little code that we're going to go ahead and start using. Let's say, hey, where's Apple today? Where's Tesla today? Morgan Stanley today? And it's going to be able to pop it up actually on the live video feeds that we're doing. So we'll be doing that and implementing that probably within the next month or so. And then we can see, hey, well, the stock prices are there. So there's some quirks to it, but it'll help you write codes and things like that for those types of, codes for live streaming. And that makes it kind of nice and interesting to generate some of that CSS, PHP, and all the other things that are necessary to get those things up and running. So anyways, that's what I've got for you right now. As for the ChatGPT system, again, it's not going to invest for you. It's not going to manage your trade for you, but it's a good way to get you started into maybe researching some stocks, ideas, giving you some related companies to a certain company, and just maybe helping you with writing some scripts within investing and trading. So as for other things, I would be a little bit more careful in how you use it, since it is a fairly new system, but it can give you some concepts if you understand the path and direction and how to filter out through some of the problem areas and quirks that it may have. Anyways, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.